Jack Adams had made a name for himself in steel and glass, a titan in a skyline he barely noticed anymore. But on the evening he stepped into Marty's diner, it wasn't the empire he'd built that weighed on him, it was the absence of a daughter he'd never truly known. Kate was scrubbing tables when she saw him. Her face tightened, and the rag in her hand stilled. "I've made it this far without you," she said, her voice edged with steel. "Why would I need you now?" "Because I'm your father," Jack said, voice raw, "and I owe you." Kate looked at him like he was a ghost that had no right haunting her life. "You're not my father. A father shows up. You're just a stranger with guilt." Her words cut deeper than any corporate betrayal. Jack had spent his life solving problems with money, but Kate didn't want wealth. She wanted the man he hadn't been. He didn't push. Instead, he showed up. Every day, Jack came to Marty's diner. He ordered coffee, tipped well, and watched her work in silence. Kate ignored him at first, her anger palpable. But then came small changes. A coffee mug refilled without a word. A muttered thanks. One night, she struggled with a jammed back door lock. Jack, awkward but earnest, retrieved tools from his car. His hands fumbled, but he got it open. "Not bad for a city guy," she said, a flicker of a smile betraying the wall she'd built. Jack clung to it. He helped where he could, without overstepping. He picked up her son Liam from school when Kate's car broke down. He played with Liam in the park, while Kate worked late. Liam was a whirlwind of curiosity, green-eyed like his mother, laughter bright as spring sunlight. Jack saw himself in Liam's fear of being left behind. But more than that, he saw Kate, her fire, her fierce love. Meanwhile, Jack's empire began to crumble. A $3 billion merger teetered on collapse. His COO, Vanessa, a whip-smart operator, called him out during a tense conference call. "You're distracted, Jack. This deal could make or break us. Where are you?" Jack couldn't tell her he was in a small town, helping a boy build a model rocket. He couldn't explain why a worn-down diner mattered more than a boardroom. Jack learned more about Kate through the town. Gus, a diner regular, told him how Sarah, Kate's mother, had worked 2 jobs, cried when Kate dropped out of college, pregnant and alone. Sarah had never spoken ill of Jack, but Kate had grown up in the shadow of his absence. One night, after closing, Kate opened up. They sat at the counter, bathed in the neon glow. "I used to wait for you," she said. "Every birthday I'd think, maybe this year he'll come. But you never did, so I stopped hoping." Jack's throat tightened. "I thought I was giving you a better life. I thought my work would mean something, but I was wrong. I was a coward." Before she could answer, the door slammed open. A man stumbled in, red-faced, shouting, "Kate, you can't keep him from me." Her face went pale. "Derek, leave. You're not welcome here." Derek, Liam's father. Drunk, fists clenched. "He's my son. You don't get to decide." Jack stepped in front of Kate. Derek lunged. A punch landed. Pain exploded across Jack's jaw, but he didn't move. The fight was chaotic. Tables overturned. Glass shattered. Kate grabbed a broom and drove Derek out, threatening the police. Afterward, Jack sat beside her, blood trickling down his lip. "You okay?" Kate nodded, trembling. "He shows up every few years. I've got a restraining order, but he doesn't care. I can't let him near Liam." Jack's heart broke. His money meant nothing, but his presence that mattered. After that night, something shifted. Kate began to trust him, not fully, but enough to talk, to share. They laughed about Liam's antics. She told him about Sarah's dreams, her own fears. Jack told her about his regrets, his emptiness. Then came another blow. Gus pulled Jack aside. "Marty's got cancer. He's selling the place. Some developer's gonna tear it down. Kate will lose her job." The diner wasn't just a job. It was her world. Jack met with Marty, a gruff man weakened by illness. "I don't want to sell," he rasped. "But the bills, I've got no choice." Jack saw a path, not to buy the diner. Kate would never accept that. But to save it, quietly. He reached out to contacts, found a nonprofit that supported small-town businesses, and secured a grant to cover Marty's medical costs. He presented it to Marty as an anonymous donation. The diner was saved. Kate never knew Jack was behind it. Later, Jack invited Kate and Liam to his penthouse in the city. Liam was awestruck. Kate was wary. Over dinner, she finally asked the question that haunted her. "Why didn't you fight for me?" Jack took a breath. "I was scared. Scared I'd fail. Scared I didn't know how to be a dad. So I ran. I built this empire to prove I mattered. But it cost me you. I've hated myself for it every day." Kate's eyes welled. "I needed you. When Mom died, when Liam was born, when I was terrified, I needed my dad." "I know," Jack whispered. "I can't undo it. But I'm here now. I'll show up every day, if you'll let me." She didn't speak, just reached out and took his hand. A beginning. Over the next year they rebuilt what had been broken. Jack didn't throw money at her problems. He fixed her car, helped with Liam's homework, washed dishes during busy diner shifts. He sold his yacht, donated the money to Willow Creek's community center. Kate, encouraged by Jack, enrolled in night classes to become a social worker. She forgave him, not because he earned it, but because she chose healing. Jack stepped back from Adams Enterprises, handing the reins to Vanessa. He moved to Willow Creek, bought a small house near Kate's, coached Liam's soccer team, became a fixture at the diner. They weren't perfect, they argued, they stumbled, but they kept going. One night, Kate and Jack sat on her balcony. Liam slept inside. "I used to think you were untouchable," she said. Jack smiled. "I'm your guy though. That's enough for me." She leaned against him. "Thanks for staying, Dad." The word was a gift. 2 years later, Jack was unrecognizable, not in wealth, but in spirit. Kate graduated, cap and gown gleaming. Liam, now 8, called him Pop. The diner thrived. Jack and Kate worked together, sometimes bickering, often laughing. The developers backed off, thanks in part to quiet lobbying from Jack. His old life, boardrooms, jets, power, faded into memory. His legacy was now laughter in a small-town diner. Forgiveness, family. As Kate and Liam danced by the jukebox, Jack leaned back and smiled. He'd traded an empire for something priceless. Love had built him a home. 5 more years passed. Liam was 13 now, taller, still curious, a budding writer who filled notebooks with sketches and stories. One of them, titled "The Man Who Stayed," won a regional youth competition. Jack wept when he read it. Kate had become a licensed social worker, specializing in family reintegration. Her past gave her a rare empathy, one that made clients open up. People said she had a gift. She said it was survival turned into service. Jack had become the town's quiet backbone. He fixed fences, helped the mayor draft a revitalization plan, and hosted Friday movie nights at the community center. His old name still carried weight, but in Willow Creek, he was just Jack, Pop, neighbor, volunteer. One winter, Marty passed away peacefully. The diner went dark for a week. Locals left flowers at the door. Kate considered closing it for good. Jack sat with her that night. Lights off, the booths empty. "This place isn't just walls and menus," he said. "It's where you healed, where I learned how to be your father, where Liam became himself. It's more than Marty's now, it's yours." Kate reopened under a new name, Second Chances. The sign was handcrafted, the menu expanded. They hired teens who needed stability, single parents who needed hours, people others overlooked. The diner became a haven, Marty's spirit lingering in every cup of coffee, served with grace. One spring afternoon, Vanessa visited. She hugged Jack tightly. "You look happy." "I am." She offered him a chairmanship at Adams Enterprises, part-time, high profile, easy money. Jack looked around the diner. Liam was tutoring a younger boy. Kate was laughing with a customer. The bell above the door jingled as a newcomer stepped in. Jack smiled at Vanessa. "I already have the best job in the world." Years later, Jack sat on the back porch, Liam beside him, now a young man with college ahead. You scared to leave? Jack asked. A little, but you and Mom showed me what home really means. I can always come back. Jack nodded, throat tight. You did good, Pop, Liam added. You changed everything. Jack looked out at the town, bathed in sunset. Children played in the park. The diner's lights flicked on. Kate waved from the doorway. He had built an empire once, but here, he had planted roots. And when Jack Adams passed on, quietly, in his sleep at age 79, the town mourned not a tycoon, but a man who chose love over legacy. On the wall of Second Chances hung a framed photo, Jack, Kate and Liam. Below it, a brass plaque read, "He showed up, he stayed, he became family." And every morning, the bell above the door rang, coffee brewed. Second Chances began again. Jack fell into a rhythm in the weeks that followed, a rhythm he hadn't known he needed. Every morning, he showed up at the diner before it opened, his sleeves rolled, his movements deliberate. Marty no longer had the strength to lift crates or bend for the bottom shelf, so Jack did it without being asked. Kate watched him sometimes, the way he moved with silent purpose, the way Liam started to light up when Jack entered the room. Jack began picking Liam up from school, when Kate had double shifts. At first, the boy barely said a word on their rides, but Jack wasn't in a hurry. He remembered something Sarah used to say. You build trust like planting seeds, quiet, steady, patient. So he drove. He asked nothing. One day, Liam handed him a drawing, a rough sketch of the diner. Jack took it like it was gold. After school, they'd sit on the bench near the park with Liam drawing, and Jack sipping coffee. They didn't talk much, but the silence between them was companionable. One afternoon, Gus leaned over the counter and said to Jack, "You remind me of her, you know, Sarah. Not the way you look, but the way you carry things, and don't say a damn word about the weight." He nodded toward Kate, who was laughing with a customer. Tired, but radiant in the moment. Jack looked down. "She talk about me much." She did, mostly through clenched teeth. Gus chuckled, then sobered. But she loved deep, like her mother. The mention of Sarah hit hard. She had died a few years after Jack walked out. Cancer. Kate had taken care of her while raising Liam, and working 2 jobs. Jack hadn't known until it was too late. He carried that with him like a stone. It was close to midnight. The diner was quiet, mostly empty, with Gus nursing his 3rd cup of decaf, and Kate wiping down tables. Jack had just stepped out to take the trash, when the door swung open hard enough to rattle the bell. Derek stumbled in, late 30s, bloodshot eyes, a mess of tangled hair and anger. He smelled like cheap whiskey, and old failure. His eyes landed on Kate, and he grinned, feral, sour. "Hey, there she is," he slurred. "My girl." Kate's whole body stiffened. She put down the rag slowly. "You need to leave, Derek," she said, voice low and steady. "I came to see my son. He's not here." "Bull. I know he's always here with you. He's mine too, remember." He stepped forward. Jack re-entered, stopping just inside the door, when he saw Derek. His eyes narrowed, but he said nothing. Derek noticed. "What's this? Who the hell are you supposed to be, huh? Her new boyfriend?" He laughed, ugly and mean. Jack walked up and positioned himself calmly between Kate and Derek. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. "You need to go," Jack said. Derek's mouth twisted. "Or what? You gonna call the cops? Hit me?" Kate stepped up, her voice firmer now. "I said leave, Derek. You don't scare me anymore." That set him off. He lunged forward, and Kate raised her arm to shield herself. But Jack caught Derek mid-motion. Not with a punch, not with violence. Just a grip, firm, controlled. "I've hit enough people in my life," Jack said quietly. "I'm not starting again, but you need to walk out of here before you make a mistake that can't be undone." There was a standoff, just a breath of tension, and then Gus stood up. "You heard him, Derek. Go home, sleep it off." Something in Derek deflated, or maybe he just lost the energy to fight someone who wasn't fighting back. He jerked his arm away from Jack and staggered out, cursing under his breath. The bell chimed softly behind him. The diner was silent again. Kate was trembling slightly, still holding her ground. Jack turned to her. "You okay?" She didn't speak for a moment, just stared at the door, then nodded. "Yeah." He moved to help her clean up the rag she'd dropped. Their hands brushed. She looked at him. "Thank you." Jack shook his head. "I wasn't going to let him hurt you." Kate let out a long breath, then gave a small laugh. "I used to dream someone would say that to me." Jack didn't know what to say to that, so he just stayed there, with her in the hush of neon and linoleum, and quiet resilience. Outside, the streets were dark, but inside, the lights were warm, and something had shifted, barely visible, but undeniably real.